people? It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not break a boat, and I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. It's your boy. Welcome to another live stream of Just My Opinion podcast. Rate, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend, family, as well as a follower. Let's get this YouTube channel lit in the YouTube algorithm. Now, we got all that stuff on out of the way. We're going to be talking about something that I just recently watched. All right. This was actually conducted I believe it was Wednesday. It was Wednesday because today is Friday. And I watched this early Friday morning. And shout out to Irvin, I'm about to say Irvin Magic Johnson, Michael Irvin, which by the way, he has a YouTube channel. He's a content creator on YouTube. And I also believe that he still does Fox Sports 1. No. He was let go of Fox Sports 1. He basically does his tour with different networks and things of that nature when they're discussing things concerning the NFL. But he's been mainly doing content creating for YouTube, as well as he's been promoting his the Miami Hurricanes, because he's not only he played there, so he's a huge fan of them, as well as he's still a fan of the Dallas Cowboys. But Michael Irvin was he crashed out. He crashed out. You know, normally when you hear someone talking about they crashed out, and they're crashing out in a good way and crashing out in a bad way. Michael Irvin crashed out in a good way, and he said a lot of things on his video. So let's get some verbiage, as well as let's get some context to what Michael Irvin was speaking on. And by the way, go subscribe to his YouTube channel. I think he's at 82K. And when I subscribed to him, he was way less than that. So he's getting those numbers. So a lot of people are subscribing to Michael Irvin, but I think the casual sports fans don't even recognize Michael Irvin. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How are y'all doing? How y'all doing down there? How y'all doing down there? Okay. I see everyone in the comment section. Could y'all do me a favor? Hit the like button. How are you doing? I'm doing great. So I'm about to talk about Michael Irvin. If you guys haven't, could you please hit the like button on this YouTube channel? And when you're done watching here, go to Michael Irvin's YouTube channel, subscribe there as well. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Ann? How you doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing down there? Okay. Hope everyone having a wonderful Friday morning. So let's get back to the topic at hand. I will address your comments in the comment section later on if you guys continue to have comments. So basically, Michael Irvin uploaded a video on his YouTube channel, and he basically talked about this podcast. I think it's called oh my God, it's a simple podcast name, Facts Over Feelings podcast. I think it's Facts Over Feelings, Emotion Over I don't know. So basically, this podcast had a topic about it was originally for Tyreek Hill, and they talked about how Deion Sanders, when he was electrifying, and Deion Sanders was extraordinary in his era. They talk about how, those players that Deion Sanders lined up against were slower. They were strong, but they were basically they're saying Deion Sanders never met his match with a fast wide receiver. He never had a fast a receiver as fast as him. And his competition were they were bigger, they were stronger, but they were not as fast as Deion Sanders. And then they also said Deion Sanders would have a hard time performing on an elite level if he had to play in this era. And then they started using people's names and likenesses. They used Jerry Rice likeness. And Michael Irvin. So when this got back to Michael Irvin was pissed beyond pissed. Okay. So Michael Irvin, that's the context of his video, talking about how basically people don't know what they're talking about. And the sad thing about it is a lot of these people are in the mainstream media. They do have a relationship with uh, uh, the mainstream media, the press, the network. They got all this access. You got Chat GPT, you got Google, you got all this research in front of you, and you don't even utilize your own research. So one of the guys on the podcast mentioned, well, Deion Sanders didn't have to worry about Chad Ochocinco, and he said another possession receiver, and Michael Irvin, and when I heard that coming out of his mouth, and Michael Irvin really got heated, going like, these guys, just because you have a platform, and just because you have a mic in front of your mouth, doesn't mean you know the ins and outs of what's going on, or even know what the hell you're talking about. Okay. And he said that, and I agree with him. I co-signed this. Chad Johnson was never a fast receiver. He was a possession receiver, but he was never considered a fast receiver. And then they talk about how they didn't have to worry about speedsters in Deion Sanders era. And Michael Irvin named some old school speedsters in the NFL era. Do people forget that Rocket Ishmael played in Deion Sanders' era? No. Do people forget about Joey Galloway, Tim Brown? I'm just naming a few speedsters in the National Football League in those eras. Do people seem to forget that, I don't know, Randy Moss was in that era? Randy Moss, who had the speed, had the size, had the strength. Do people forget about all of these speedsters in the NFL? And the sad part of it is these guys on this podcast are current and former NFL players. You got all this research. You played in the National Football League. You got all these relationships with media personalities. Now, you may not be able to get Stephen A. Smith to come onto your show, but you got a lot of media personalities that you can invite or you can just talk to that can set you straight, because maybe you've forgotten some things along the way. There's that. And then Michael Irvin talked about how playing in the National Football League today is different than playing in the National Football League in his era, where they endorse hitting receivers. They endorse tying a receiver up at the line of scrimmage. They endorse trying to knock the receiver off his route. And they even further, and when I mean they, the NFL, endorse getting hit as soon as you catch the ball. In today's era, in today's NFL, that is non-existent. You hit a receiver, a solid hit on a receiver, you're going to be suspended for three weeks. They banned all of those strategies. Now these fast receivers, when they get off the line of scrimmage, they don't have to deal with being tied up at the line of scrimmage. They don't have to they don't have to worry about another defender trying to knock them off their route. They don't have to worry about, catching the ball in the middle of the field, because they're allowed to not only catch the ball, but come down with the ball. And then you can tackle him. Or then you can hit him. And they don't have to worry about the solid hits, the dives to your legs, trying to strip the ball from you. Today's NFL is flag football. When you compare today's NFL to yesteryear's NFL. It's like comparing flag football to actual football. No disrespect to a lot of players in the NFL, but there's a lot of things y'all didn't have to go through. Have anyone watched an NFL game? Well, a practice, and now these receivers, they don't even practice proper technique on catching the ball, or release, or catching the ball and the space, trying to get those extra yards. Now they practicing how they're going to dance off the line of scrimmage. They're doing all this shaking and tangling and this the Macarena. They're practicing all these dances at the line of scrimmage. When I mean dances, they're trying to shake their defender off by doing a razzle dazzle here, razzle dazzle there. They practice a lot of stuff in the summer that they don't even utilize today. I saw a possession tight end practicing this, and I think Cam Newton even talked about it. How, homie, all that razzle dazzle at the line of scrimmage, you're not going to be able to get that off in a real game. So why even practice this nonsense that y'all do? And then Michael Irvin went into, well, in today's with football in general, particularly in the college level, if you're a star player, you don't like you commit to the college. But if you don't like your playing time, you can just go to another college with the NIT money, and these guys are making NIT money. They got endorsement deals. You don't like the coach, you don't like what they say to you, you can just go to another team. The roster spots, they're not earned, they're given. They're given. They're giving out roster spots like they're pieces of candy. You want a piece of candy? Here you go. Here's a piece of candy. Here's a position. There's a position. You have a position. You got a position. These guys don't even fight for positions or even keep their positions. And you're talking about yesterday's NFL players can't play in today's. If Michael Irvin was playing in today's NFL, there's going to be a lot of teams that's going to have a hard time defending Michael Irvin. Because win, lose, or draw, Michael Irvin is going to not only catch the pass, but absorb the hit and, get yardage or try to get the touchdown. Moving it forwards, not backwards. And Michael Irvin wasn't the fastest receiver. The crazy thing about the NFL, the two most popular receivers, highly decorated receivers, Super Bowl winning receivers, have records today that today's receivers can't even eclipse, or Michael Irvin and Jerry Rice. You know what those two receivers have in common besides all the decorated like generals, like 5-star generals? Those were possession receivers. They were not the fastest receivers. They were possession receivers. They ran their route. They got hit while trying to run their route. They caught the ball. They got hit catching the ball in the air. They got hit in the air. They got hit on the side. They got hit in the front. And they had to hold on to that ball and get additional yards. Tyreek Hill these receivers today, they don't have to worry about none of that stuff. They took the physicality out of football. Where you have, and I'm not crapping on these receivers. Travis Hunter, he don't have to worry about what Michael Irvin or Jerry Rice had to deal with in their era. He don't. There's a reason why he's able to play receiver and cornerback. He's part-time cornerback. He's part-time receiver. He's young now. He's able to do it. But once he gets older, he's going to have to commit. Do you want to be a full-time receiver or a full-time cornerback? Because they're gonna F with his money when it's time to re-up. And they're gonna go, well, if if you're a corner and your performance is down as a corner, then why should we give you guaranteed money to be a corner? Or if you're a receiver and you don't have the same numbers as these elite receivers, then why should we give you a boat ton of money? And I'm gonna be honest with you, Travis Hunter, he's got a decision to make at the end of this calendar football season. He needs to either commit to being a receiver or commit to being a cornerback, because that's going to screw your money up when it's time to re-up. But that's neither here nor there. We'll just talk about the topic at hand. But Michael Irvin was going ballistic on a lot of these guys that have these podcasts, and they say the most dumbest, ridiculous things I have ever heard. And it translates into all forms of sports. The NBA is the same way, where you have JJ Redick talking about how players like Bob Cousy, they were plumbers, they were electricians, they were firefighters. They couldn't even exist in our era or today's era. When you got Draymond Green talking about, oh, I don't know about these older players. These older players, I can't fathom these older players playing in our era. And you got LeBron James co-signing this poppycock. I mean, he even went on Pat McAfee and talked about it. The arrogance of these players, in not only in the NFL, but in the NBA. And they're given opportunities, they're given platforms to speak this verbiage, to speak this trash juice, and bless it and co-signed it by other stragglers like Richard Jefferson. Richard Jefferson is a huge straggler who, and as far as his accomplishments as a player, he did a lot of great things in the NBA. But to sit up here and to promote this trash juice, talking about yesterday's players cannot coexist or even play in the NBA era today, is ludicrous. Where there's zero hand checking in the NBA. Zero. When there is zero defense in the NBA. Today's NBA player don't have to practice every day. Their practices are walkthroughs every day. Hell, some of their games are practices. When the coach is got his hands tied to the back, and he can't even get today's NBA players to play defense or to encourage defense in practice. LeBron James even talked about it a couple of seasons ago, talking about, we shouldn't have to practice as much. We shouldn't worry about, focusing all our practices on the defense side of things. He got that garbage juice co-signed and blessed by players in the organization, but players in the media world co-signing this stupid verbiage. And I love LeBron James. I'm a huge fan of LeBron James. No disrespect to LeBron James and his accomplishments. He won titles in this era. But guess what, LeBron James? Steph Curry won the same amount of titles. Draymond Green has won the same amount of titles. Klay Thompson has won the same amount of titles. In this era where there's a different team winning the chip, Kyrie Irvin won a title. Oh, I'm sorry. Won a title with LeBron James. Kawhi Leonard has won titles. Kevin Durant has won titles. What are you talking about? In this era, on your watch, LeBron James, You have multiple upon multiple teams winning titles. What are you talking about? It's not like you ran roughshod in the NBA where you won all the titles, you got all the praise, you got all the accomplishments. People forget, people have selective amnesia. When LeBron went to Miami with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, and they tried to go for their first title, they got manhandled by the Dallas Mavericks. Who they didn't have a big three over there. You guys want to think that they have a big three. You guys want to justify the argument where they got beaten by the Dallas Mavericks. No, the Miami Heat had have talent. They have their big three. But the reason why the Dallas Mavericks beat them, and you can go watch it for yourself, is they had a complete team. They had a strategy. If you're a solid team, I don't care what type of talent you have on the other side. And if you got to play that team for 7 games, and you have a solid team, you have a solid plan, and there's better chemistry on that team. This team, it wasn't made yesterday. 9 times out of 10, those teams are going to beat those teams that have talent galore. People seem to forget the Portland Trailblazers when they had Scottie Pippen and all that talent that they collected. They had the talent, but did they have the right talent? Did they have the right mixture? Did they have the right chemistry? They had talent, but there was a reason why they was getting destroyed by Shaq and Kobe's Lakers. Just because you have talent doesn't make you necessarily a great team. Tyreek Hill, y'all talk about how fast. Oh, Tyreek Hill fast. He goes pew, pew, pew. Oh, Tyreek Hill fast. He's big. He's fast. Tyreek Hill couldn't even be in the same arena with Randy Moss. But that's neither here nor there. But y'all give Tyreek Hill an out because y'all say, well, Tyreek Hill got Super Bowl wins. Randy Moss doesn't. Tyreek Hill is more accomplished. Randy Moss doesn't. You know, when y'all talk about athleticism and speed, and then you give an example of a player who has athleticism and speed, then y'all change the argument to, well, the one that you co-signing for, that you bootlicking for, well, you know, that's true and all, but Tyreek Hill, he's got Super Bowl rings, and Randy Moss doesn't. So y'all change the argument. Then you change the narrative. Wait a minute. I thought you talked about how Tyreek Hill is a better athlete. He's faster. He's stronger. His athleticism is off the charts. You never seen anything like that. Okay? I give you the same player that played 10, 20 years ago, and now you say, oh, well, that don't count because that player, they're not as accomplished as Tyreek Hill. Let me ask you something. What the hell Tyreek Hill has done since he left the Kansas City Chiefs? Since you want to keep it on titles, let's keep it on titles. What have Tyreek Hill done? Have Tyreek Hill gotten any closer to the Super Bowl? No. Have Tyreek Hill gotten the Miami Dolphins any better? No. He hasn't. Has the Kansas City Chiefs continued to win Super Bowls? Yes. The Kansas City Chiefs are you know, they're still going to Super Bowls. They're older. They're still going to Super Bowls. And they still have won titles before and after Tyreek Hill. So what is this stupid narrative about athleticism? What good is you being so fast that's a compliment? That's that's better. You'd rather have a fast receiver than having a receiver that's well-rounded. He may not be the fastest receiver. Chris Carter wasn't the fastest receiver. He wasn't the tallest receiver. But Chris Carter was in an era, like I said, where they would jack you up with hits. They will hit you while you're trying to catch the ball in the air. They will hit you when you're trying to catch the ball closer to the sideline. They will hit you. They will definitely destroy you if you try to catch the ball in the middle. Hell, I've seen a play where they would knock the snot out of you when you're trying to score a touchdown. Chris Carter wasn't as athletic wise better than Tyreek Hill, but he's more complete. He's more accomplished. He's more well rounded. If Tyreek Hill played in that era, you think Tyreek Hill will have a long career in the NFL in that era? So it's easy for these guys on this podcast to talk their ish about players in the past, talking about these players in the past could not play in your era. You got the softest era in the NBA and the NFL, and you mean to fucking tell me that these players that were playing 20, 30 years ago could not play in your... You shitting me. You got to be shitting me. The players 20 years ago would dominate in this era, in this current climate. Climax. Am I having an erection, or I'm talking about sports? I don't know what I'm trying to do here. Okay, I will read your comments later, old diver. Anybody that's got comments, I will read them later. I apologize. Please hit the like button. But a lot of these players, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And y'all give them credence because, well, they played in the NBA, they played in the NFL, they know this superstar player, they know that superstar player. So nobody's not saying no to them. Nobody's not disputing what they're saying. In this era, you took all the physicality of being physical, which is an important factor in sports. Being physical, not just being talented, not just being fast, not just because you can score with little to no effort on defense. Because you took the physicality out of these sports. You took you have to go through some walls in yesteryear's sports. So you have to be on top of your mental game. You have to have a short-term memory on games that, it just wasn't your night. You got today's NBA players and NFL players, when they go through stuff mentally, they're gone half the season. Shall I bring up the name Ben Simmons? If Ben Simmons played in that era, in the 70s, 80s, hell, even the 90s, Ben Simmons couldn't make it in three years in those eras. Because you have to have a mental mindset. Because people were going to try to destroy you any way they can. Gary Payton will talk Ben Simmons off his game and out of the league. Gary Payton. And y'all mean to tell me Gary Payton, who, wasn't the best scorer, but could score, was an all-time defender. You mean to tell me Gary Payton couldn't play in today's era? The only reason why he couldn't play in today's era, because in today's era, the defense, you can't guard a player. You have to give them space. No hand checking. You can't be physical. Oh, let them go to their block. Let them go to their space. Allow them to shoot it. You can't get too close on them. If you breathe on them, we're gonna blow the whistle on you. That's a foul. Allow them to score. And then when they finally come down and their feet are planted perfectly on the floor, then you can defend them. The rules are set up where if you're an offensive player, you don't even have to be a good offensive player. You could be a below average offensive player, and you can just dominate in today's era. Y'all act like Reggie Miller wasn't a scorer. Y'all act like Reggie Miller could not play in your era. Let me ask you something. Can any of these players that y'all name can play in yesteryear's era? They can't, because they will have to deal with the physicality. They will have to deal with the mental game, the physical game. You will have to deal with something. You have to go through some shit to deal with it. In today's era, and Michael Irvin said it, this is the softest era for sports. And, I co-sign it. It is soft with the hard T. It is soft. You can't even guard these players anymore. They don't even encourage defense anymore. If you breathe on these players, you're getting fouled. You're getting suspended for 3 games. If you're thinking about being physical to any of these players, you're going to be fouled out the game. You're going to be suspended for the year. Hard fouls are the thing of the past. Hand checking is the thing of the past. And I love LeBron James. I think he's extraordinary, but he's nowhere near close to Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Nowhere near close. The stuff that Michael Jordan had to endure to get through where he is today. There's a reason why 6 titles will never be eclipsed. There's a reason why. Winning 3 titles, winning back to back to back, and then take a hiatus, win back to back to back, coming out of retirement, winning back to back to back. That is never going to be eclipsed, folks. That is never going to be eclipsed. And these leagues, they're giving you the opportunity to score. If scoring was that important, JJ Redick, LeBron James, Richard Jefferson, Kendrick Perkins, if scoring is so important, Steph Curry is a scorer. LeBron James is a scorer. If scoring was so important, that's all you need is scoring, right? Then how come none of those individuals have multiple on top of multiple titles? How come none of those individuals have won a scoring title consecutively? Y'all say Michael Jordan, y'all say Michael Jordan wasn't a scorer, but he won multiple scoring titles. In the same year, he won multiple defensive player titles. So being great on one aspect and not being great on the other aspect, if scoring was so important, guys, then why are these players are not successful on a higher clips? Because there's no defense, no hand checking. If scoring, and it's the same argument on football. Being fast, being strong is so important. If it's so doggone important, how come none of these speedsters are dominating? Did y'all watch the NFL Super Bowl? Did y'all watch the game entirely? Yeah, I know nowadays, people don't even watch a full game. You guys watch the highlight clips on social media, and then y'all watch a 30-second a clip from a Super Bowl. You didn't even watch the whole game. You just watch that clip, and you go, see, that's why he's special. Look how fast he's going. Look how he catches the ball. Yeah, they won that game because of that play. When you didn't even watch the whole Super Bowl, you didn't even watch the whole game. Because everyone is so quick to jump on social media to prove their point, to prove their opinion, to dick ride whoever the player they're trying to dick ride. This is the year of the dick riding. So much dick riding in professional sports. It's just all over. It's in gaming. It's everywhere. So much dick riding. Everybody wants to be a dick rider, And I like LeBron James. I have nothing against LeBron James, but if you tell people LeBron James was the second best player in the NBA, that they'll kill you on social media. Oh no, he ain't. He's number one. He's over Jordan. You know what's wrong with being the second best player? He's never going to be the first player. And then y'all make up these ridiculous arguments. Well, he done something that Michael Jeffrey Jordan hasn't done. What's that? Been in 21, played 21 seasons. Okay, so out of those 21 seasons, how many times he had played all 82 games? Michael Jordan has done it multiple times. How many times LeBron James, with all the advancements in technology and medicine and how the rules are changed, how you don't have to worry about practicing as much. This is a player-friendly league. He's in the era where he's getting all the advantages, right? He's getting all the advantages with technology, medicine and research and things of that nature. He's got more advantages than Michael Jordan, but yet he can't even string together a handful of seasons where he's playing all 82 games. But you want to say that he's better than Michael Jordan. Look, it's okay being number two. Tyreek Hill, I got nothing against Tyreek Hill. I think Tyreek Hill is an extraordinary player. I think Tyreek Hill is a solid receiver, but he's not a complete receiver. And Tyreek Hill needs other things to get him going. Just being fast is just not good enough, folks. Being fast. See, people seem to forget, and I forgot about this. But when Michael Irvin was talking about it on his video, I went, yeah, that is true. The NFL owners wanted, when in Michael Irvin's era, the NFL wanted speed so bad that they was going to track meets and trying to convince Olympia speedsters to play in the NFL because they were so fast. Oh, they fast. They fast. See, it's easy being fast in a track meet because you don't have to worry about getting your head torn off. You don't have to run, break the run, and then go to a slant. You don't have to worry about that. You just wait for the gun to shoot off. You run your track meet, and the first one that goes to the finish line win. Where the physicality in track? You don't have to worry about somebody on the other end keeping you from completing the race. It's just your competitors are right next to you. They're just whoever's the fastest and whoever gets to the ribbon is the winner. And that's what the NFL was trying to do. They were trying to convince all these speedsters to come to the summer camp, see if they can get on a roster. And a handful tried. I remember the Raiders tried. They convinced a Olympic speedster to come to their meets in the summer, and it didn't work out because once he got there, a lot of things played a huge factor. Courage is a huge factor in football back then. Courage, knowing that you're going to get hit if you catch this ball. Then the pads, the helmets, seeing people getting just dismantled on a football field, learning a route, not just snapping the ball and you just run a straight line. You got to learn angles, you have to learn routes, you have to learn breaks. The stamina. You can't, in track meets, you're only doing that. You're probably going to do one or two races that session. So it's easier to be fast in a track meet. Try to do that. Try to consistently be fast in a football game. So And a lot of them said, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. I'd rather just run track. Nothing against them. But when you start putting in all these other ingredients, what you have to deal with as a receiver in the National Football League in that era, no one can convince me that today's NFL players can dominate in that era. And nobody can sit up here and tell me that the yesteryear players, given all the opportunities with technology, research, the rules are changing, how you defend somebody. No one's going to sit up there and tell me Chris Carter could not play in this era, that Jerry Rice could not play in this era, that Michael Irvin could not play in this era. No one's not going to sit up there and tell me that none of those players can play in today's era. And you hear people in the comment section just dick riding today's players. Like they had to persevere, And another dumb, lame ass argument is, well, yesteryear's the players that played 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, they don't have to deal with social media. Social media can be mean. Social media, it's the mental fortitude. Oh my God, they get crushed daily on social media. Social media is a selective choice. It's selective. You don't have to necessarily be on social media. You know how you can defeat social media? Getting off your laptop and your fucking phone. Of course, on social media, there's going to be more negativity than positivity. That's how the algorithm works. That's how it works. The algorithm don't promote actual facts or promote good things. It promotes the bad things. It promotes the criticism. Of course, in social media, you're going to get torched. You're going to get cooked. All right? Because that's what social media is made for. Social media and, people, and I use social media. So what I'm speaking from is not from the heart, but from actual fact. On social media, and just like in the comment section, when people disagree with you, social media is filled with people who never did nothing with their lives, who have answers to everything, but done absolutely diddly squat with their lives. They're just failed content creators. You know why I know you're a failed content creator? When you comment in my video, you know what I do? And I've done this a couple times. I don't even do it no more. Sometimes I play that game. Sometimes I will just click to your profile. And when I click to your profile, you got videos galore. Videos galore. You're speaking on both sides of the mouth. You praising LeBron James. And you dissing LeBron James. And when you go to their videos, it's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo, dick riding to its core, to its essence. You don't bring no facts. It's all emotion, and you don't get no traction. You get zero play. You washed. You are washed. Or sometimes you click their profile and you see that they were a content creator, but they don't have no video. Some people are smart up and they delete all of their videos with their opinions. They delete them all. Or you click to a profile and it was just made a day ago. Also, okay, YouTube just started yesterday and you made an account. You've been on YouTube. You've been watching YouTube for years and you just now decided to make an account. You just made an account an hour ago and you commenting on my page. And you just made that account an hour ago. You don't think I'm smart enough to know that that account was only made so you can comment about my video, about my live stream, and then you switch back to your account where you're just constantly dick riding whoever you want to dick ride. You don't think I don't know all the tricks and trades of this stuff? It's the same way with social media. Social media is a wasteland of people who didn't accomplish anything, who didn't do anything, who can't stand on their own tens. You can't even stand on your own tens with anything, for or against. You always dick riding these athletes. And then you wonder why these athletes have these platforms, and you wonder why these athletes have these podcasts. No, just, if you want to if you're an athlete and you want a podcast, you want your media company, you want to by all means do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. I'm not saying this, that, and the third. Like, I have no problem with Paul Pierce having a podcast. I have no problem with Michael Parsons having a podcast. But you would think an athlete on that magnitude having a podcast, at least they accomplished something like a title, or, gotten their team, at least to the Super Bowl. Well, Michael Parsons, I love Michael Parsons. I'm a huge Dallas Cowboy fan. I wanted Michael Parsons to stay with the Dallas Cowboys. I would love to have Michael Parsons on the Dallas Cowboys. But you know what? I like the trade even better. A lot of people don't want to give credit. Everyone was dick riding Michael Parsons. Oh, Michael Parsons, he's going to be with the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers are Super Bowl bound. When did y'all ever hear anyone to talk, before that trade, anyone talking about the Packers being in the Super Bowl? When did that verbiage come out? When all of a sudden the Green Bay Packers, they're Super Bowl bound, and having Michael Parsons there is just the icing on the cake. When was that verbiage televised? Because before that trade, I did my research. None of the experts were talking about the Packers making it to the Super Bowl. And then the minute they get Michael Parsons, oh, there it goes. Super Bowl bound. Super Bowl bound. And I like Michael Parsons. I wish he stayed with the Dallas Cowboys. But guess what? I like the trade even better. It benefits the Cowboys better in the short term and in the long term. The Green Bay Packers are going to be stuck with Michael Parsons' contract. They made him the highest paid player. I guarantee you 2, possibly 3 years into that contract, the organization's going to walk to Michael Parsons and go, hey, you think you can trim off what we owe you, and so we can get some more players on the defensive side? You think you could do that? Can you just skim off just a little bit? Michael Parsons ain't going to do that. He's going to go, no, you're going to have to cut me. I want all my money. See, when you tie these big name players and they only do one thing great, Michael Parsons is athletic. He can leap. He's so fast. Michael Parsons is so fast. When you depend on a player's athleticism only, do you realize when they get older that athleticism is going to be gone? And the athleticism is going to be gone quicker than him being off the contract. The contract is going to last. The contract is going to outlive the athleticism. Y'all do know that, right? You do know that. So I like Michael Parsons. I'm a huge Dallas Cowboy fan. But when the trade went down, I was on this very channel. I don't dick ride and create a channel a couple hours ago just to comment in someone else's opinions about Michael Parsons. I comment on this channel. I make videos for this channel. I don't dick ride nowhere else. Okay, so I was the first to say and got laughed at that. I think the Dallas Cowboys, they, I think the Dallas Cowboys made that team better without Michael Parsons. Because y'all gotta realize what did Michael Parsons did for the when he was with the Dallas Cowboys. Y'all seem to forget that the Dallas Cowboys didn't win no Super Bowls with Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons was getting destroyed by the Philadelphia Eagles. All that speed, all that size, and getting whipped at the line by the Philadelphia Eagles. And it's a team effort. The Cowboys are just as wrong when they had Michael Parsons as Michael Parsons was wrong when he was, this is, everyone deserves a slice of this pie, including Jerry Jones. Okay, but y'all make Michael Parsons a world beater. Like, what did he do with the Dallas Cowboys? The Dallas Cowboys wasn't winning Super Bowls. They wasn't winning a multitude of games. They were who we thought they were. Okay, they're gonna be the same Dallas Cowboys this year, maybe a little bit better than they were last year with Michael Parsons. So what Michael Parsons really did, and if Michael Parsons was so much of a factor when they played the Dallas Cowboys, they tied that game. What did Michael Parsons do in the game? Don't worry about the highlights. Don't give me a bunch of 2 or 3 clips. Let's talk about the whole game. There's a strategy that Michael Parsons has not defeated. And all these NFL expertise, all these NFL coaches know what it is. You got to have more. You got to bring more to the table than your athleticism. You have to bring more to the table than your speed. It's your IQ. The other things count, people. But yeah, I don't want to make it about Michael Parsons. But Michael Irvin was right on the money about today's players are not as great as you guys make them to be. Y'all put these players on a pedestal, and you think these players could have played in any era. No, they couldn't. And then you make the conversation worse when you say yesterday's players could not play in today's era. There's no defense in today's era. There's no hand checking in today's era. There's no being physical in today's era. The mental game is gone. You can't even get in anybody's head. You can't even say anything without getting a whistle blown. And to make the competition is gone. Everybody wants to play on the winning team. Nobody wants to play on the losing team. Nobody wants to just build from within. Thank God the Oklahoma City Thunder, Sam Presti and that organization didn't fall in the trap like so many other franchises, the Lakers included, by trying to build super teams. I'm not happy with the commissioner and the decisions that he made with the NBA. I really think that they need a new commissioner. But the one thing I kind of I definitely co-sign with them is about making it harder for these superstar players to join forces and join up like Voltron. Because it was destroying the league. When you have all the talent, all the superstars, that eventually was going to happen. You're going to have 2 or 3 teams with all the superstars, and everybody else just going to have to defend for themselves. And that's competition to you guys? That's competition. That's competition to you guys. Having all the best players on one team, that's competition. That's fair, right? So if you can't beat them, join them. That's what when this era is over with and the concrete is dried and a couple of eras have passed this, a lot of players are going to talk about this era and how this era was so soft, had a lack of competition. You had players that was only extraordinary on one thing and one thing only, getting a boatload of money and a lot of praise. And where are they now? Nobody wants to start from the bottom and work their way to the top in this era. Everybody wants success like instant mashed potatoes, like 60-second rice. Everybody wants instant gratification. Nobody wants to work hard anymore in this era. And thank God Michael Irvin put the hammer to the nail. And thank God somebody's finally speaking up to this bullshit that we've been witnessing for at least 10 years. At least 10 years. It's sad. Today's era is, I mean, to these players today, they don't have to go through all the hurdles that players in the past had to go through. And these today's players, they don't have to deal with what the players in the 60s have to deal with. No blacks allowed. Racism was on an all-time high. People were getting hanged. You know, there's pros and cons to every era, but like from the 60s, 70s, and the 80s, the advancement with research and medicine and technology, it was non-existent in those eras. And today, in today's era, you got Chat GPT. Chat GPT will tell you anything, and then people swear that that is the gospel. I was watching an NBC article, and now colleges, a lot of these students, they don't even go and just go do the research. Just get the research on your own. Get it out the mud your own. They are heavily supportive. They get all their answers from Google, Chat GPT. A lot of these people that are graduating from college, they don't even know how to apply what, because they learned absolutely diddly squat. They just learned shortcuts. They get these jobs and then they wonder why they fail at these jobs. They wonder why they fail as CEOs. They wonder why they fail as financial, analysts. They wonder why they fail in construction. They wonder why they fail across the board on everything because of Chat GPT. You're getting all your answers from Chat. You're not learning anything. You just learned how to get the answer quicker. You couldn't figure out the answer, so you just put the question into Chat GPT and it spit it out the answer. But when you try to apply that knowledge, what little knowledge you have in the real world, you fail at it, and now you're soaking and complaining that you've been laid off from your job because the proof is in the pudding. You can have that fancy degree, you can hang that degree all you want to, but at the end of the day, when belt meets ass, and you have to go out there and showcase what you got a degree for, and you fail miserably and you lose your job, you have no one to blame but yourself because you spent 4 years in college using Chat GPT. So yeah, I mean, and then you wonder why um you know people are being laid off because of the drones. Now more than ever, companies are using drones. Now more than ever, the call center, you don't even have call centers no more. You don't even speak to nobody. You don't speak to a real person at the call center. There's a chat box that you speak to. I mean, I was like AT&T, like I paid my phone bill early because I had it set for a certain date. So I paid it like 4 days early. And I'm calling to speak to someone to cancel the payment that I had for that date, so they don't take it out of my account, so I don't pay my phone bill twice. And I'm on the phone thinking I'm going to speak to somebody, And they sent me a text message, and I clicked the text message, and I'm speaking to a bot. I'm speaking to a bot. And I remember a video on YouTube where there's people that's working at AT&T. They're losing their jobs left to right because of the technology. Now these corporations, they're trying to do their best to get rid of, to eliminate jobs, because the technology is better. The bots, the chat, those chat boxes, they're better now. They can communicate better to the customer, to the consumer. And Amazon, they let go a ton of people because of the technology of these bots, and they're putting their future towards these bots, to the chat bots, to the drawing the droids, drones, excuse me. And Uber, remember how Uber was you can make tons of money on Uber. If you got a car, you can make tons of money on Uber. I don't know why people are not using Uber to make money, but now Uber is ushering in driverless cars with no driver, and they take their clients wherever they have to go. And the technology is not there. I mean, it's not totally there yet. It needs some improvement. But with technology moving so fast, it would not surprise me in a year, less than a year, or maybe a year, or a year more, that the technology is going to get so bad, so good, that you're not going to utilize Uber for a driver. You're going to get the driverless car, because they're going to figure out a way to make that affordable and cheaper. And then people are going to start heavily depending on that. And then when they eliminate all the drivers from Uber, or eliminate them making money on Uber, okay, then they'll raise the prices up, where that's the only thing you have to deal with, a driverless car. So yeah, I went into another layer of this. It's just we lean so heavily on chat GPT and all these bots and stuff to get our information, and we don't even do the research no more. We're not even smart enough to do the research no more. We lean heavily on this stuff. And we also, and it goes into the sports world. Y'all, we lean heavily because everybody and their grandmama has a podcast. Everybody and their grandmama has a podcast. Current athletes, former athletes, and they be speaking this mumbo jumbo bullshit about Jerry Rice and Michael Irvin. I don't know if they would be able to play in today's NFL. I don't know if Deion Sanders could be able to play in today's NFL with all the rule changes, and you can't hit anybody no more. It's flag football. What the fuck you mean that none of these players could not play? They were playing in an era where hitting was allowed. Hitting is not allowed in today's era. But you have a hard time figuring out how Deion Sanders can play in this era. What about Tyreek Hill? Can Tyreek Hill play in that era? In the era Deion Sanders was in where the era where Jerry Rice was in, the era was Michael Irvin was in, Tim Brown was in. You think Tyreek Hill? Y'all seem to forget Joey Galloway, Rocket Ishmael. They had speedsters in those eras. And they had to deal with a lot of things that Tyreek Hill doesn't have to deal with. So yeah, I just wanted to go on live and talk about that. Go check out Michael Irvin's, subscribe to his channel, subscribe to that video. He was speaking the gospel, and it's about damn time. And you know what? A lot of these, like the Draymond Greens and the LeBron James, I don't know if y'all been paying attention to them, but they're starting to, they're starting to get scared, because with NBC coming in, having live games, the one great thing they've done, other than getting the NBA live games, is now they got Michael Jordan as a correspondent. And I just can't wait till Michael Jordan starts commenting on these players that have been commenting on Michael Jordan for years, talking about Michael Jordan's era wasn't that great, and LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan. It's easy to talk about somebody behind their back, or talk about somebody that doesn't really have a platform or need a platform to speak for themselves. Now we're going to have the truth, and I'm pretty sure Michael Jordan is going to try to be as nice as he possibly can. Okay. But I don't think Michael Jordan is going to jeopardize his truth telling. He's going to be soft and exorbitant with a lot of these players, because he knows a lot of these players don't want to hear the truth. Draymond Green is one of those players. Draymond Green couldn't play in any era. He can barely play in this era. He was only good when the Splash Brothers were in their prime. Draymond Green was only good when he had Boogie Cousins. Draymond Green was only good when he had Kevin Durant. And now all those players is gone. They done separated the Splash Brothers. What have Draymond Green has done? Other than figure out a way to get suspended, figure out a way to get the hook out of games. And y'all praise that stuff like, that's a big deal. Dennis Rodman was a better defender than Draymond Green. Now, Draymond Green offensively was better than Dennis Rodman. I'll give you that. But Dennis Rodman was getting rebounds over actual centers. Centers that were 7 foot tall. Dennis Rodman, I think he was like 6'10", 6'11", but he was an extraordinary leaper. And the desire to get that rebound was unmatched. And y'all think Dennis Rodman could not coexist in this era? Again, I'll give y'all the out. Dennis Rodman wasn't I don't think Dennis Rodman would score in this era. But guess what? Y'all talk about Draymond Green like he scores 20 points every night. Draymond Green is not a scorer. I think he's a better scorer than Dennis Rodman. But could you imagine Dennis Rodman with the Golden State Warriors? If you put Dennis Rodman with the Golden State Warriors and put Draymond Green wherever you want to put Draymond Green, you think Draymond Green is going to still have that same type of success? Probably not. But if you put Dennis Rodman with the Golden State Warriors, you don't think he's going to have the same success, if not better, because he's one part of, he doesn't care about scoring. Now, he can score, but he doesn't care about scoring. Is he a better scorer than Draymond Green? No, he's not. He's not. Okay. But Dennis Rodman, if defense was allowed and the hand checking was allowed and a lot of stuff you had to deal with, the mental game and all that was allowed in today's era, a lot of these players would not make it. That's why a lot of these players are making it. Everybody keeps talking about, oh man, LeBron, if he ends this career, he'll be in the league for 23 years. Y'all make that sound like that's extraordinary. That's something to talk about. Like the scoring title. Who was talking about the scoring title when Kareem won it? No one gave a damn about the score. Individual titles was not a thing in the NBA. No one was talking about it when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar won the scoring title. Nobody wasn't talking about it. Nobody wasn't thinking about the scoring title. Now when LeBron James wins it, oh, y'all talk about it. It's in every single argument you have to build your case, and it's a weak case. But yeah, you talk about how, oh man, LeBron James been in the league for 23 years. Oh man, oh shoot, I don't forget. Russell Westbrook is going to be in the league for like 20 plus years. I forgot that point guard. I forgot his last name. Y'all know him. Chris Paul. Oh my God, he's in the league for 20 plus years. Oh my God, this player's been in there for 16 years. Oh my God, this player, that player. It's easy to be in the league when you don't have to deal with physicality. It's easy to prolong your career when you don't have to deal with the mental fortitude that you have to have. It's easy to be in the league playing that long with the advancement in research, technology, and the medicine. It's easy. It's not harder, it's easy. So miss me on how long a player has been in the league, and then that's your biggest credit to why that player's better than the players in the past. Well, if Michael Jordan is the GOAT, how come he couldn't play 20 years in the NBA? You know why? You know why Michael Jordan couldn't play? You know why Michael Jordan never played 20 years in the NBA? Because he didn't need to. He didn't need to. If you gotta play in a league 20 years to get all the personal stats that no one gives a shit about, and I like LeBron James. I got nothing against LeBron James, but this being in the league long, playing in the league long on a high level, which he's not playing at a high level. The man plays 40 games a season. It'd be different if he's playing 60 to 82 games, but he's not even doing that. Okay, he's not even going to be in opening day. And I feel like there's more to that. There's more layers to that. With not getting an extension from the Lakers and the Lakers moving forward to Luka. You think if the Lakers gave LeBron James what he wanted, you think LeBron James is going to miss opening day? Y'all really think LeBron James is going to miss opening day if the Lakers would have gave him an extension? If the Lakers build their team around LeBron James, you think LeBron James is going to miss opening day? If Jeannie Buss had control of the Los Angeles Lakers, you think, and she gave him an extension and told him he can play as long as he wants, and we're gonna build a team around you and only you. You think LeBron James is gonna miss opening week? No, no. It's time to move on, folks. It's time to let go. Franchises are not building their teams around 40-year-old players. And that's just facts. Facts. Anyway, I'm going to read these messages. I'm going to call it a day. Sorry, I was long-winded, folks. I'm sorry. It's just, it bothers me. It really bothers me how these former players and these current players are given platforms and given opportunity to speak, to say what they want to say, these podcasts, and they are just so inconsistent, and they just dick ride so much, and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Okay, but y'all never hold these guys' feet to the fire. But the minute I slip up and misspell something or mispronounce something, then you uh, you you're on me like I committed a crime. But with these guys that you dick ride for, you allow them an out to say what they want to say. But hey, whatever. You like it, I love it. All right, so we're gonna get into these comments. IG said real facts. Thanks, my brother. Uh Damn, keep it up. Okay, I appreciate it. Just my opinion. Old driver, what's up? How you doing? Old driver, bro. I'm hold up. Let me get the phone closer to me. I wish YouTube make these. Okay. Bro, I'm going to, but this new era, we have to take what we learn and move on. Apply out. Raise to, okay, hold up. Just yelling at it all day. I guess he's talking about how my passion and how I'm yelling about it. Okay, I feel you though. And refs aren't flat out fixing the game, but they do certain things, banning on pumping up games bets 100%. The gambling aspect, my brother. Uh, Look, I know with the gambling aspect, I'm not incredibly knowledgeable about the gambling aspect, but I do feel like there are certain people, there are certain individuals, and there are certain companies that there's a reason why uh, when you gamble, you're losing your money. When you gamble, you lose. You don't gamble to win; you gamble to lose. And my father, he used to play the lottery all the time, and then he would always talk about the times he hits it big, but he never talked about the times he didn't hit big or he didn't hit at all. You're never There's never going to be a scenario where when you're gambling, you're winning 90% of the time and losing 10% of the time, or you're winning 60% of the time and you're losing 40% of the time. 9 out of 10, it's a higher clip when you're losing than you're winning, but you focus on the winning. But did you win all your money back? No. Okay, but I don't get into all that. But I feel what you're saying. Okay, old driver, you can't blame the players for the league being soft. They're just trying to take advance of the rules. Okay, let's stop right there. Uh, the basis of Michael Irvin's argument and the basis of my argument is the players today have no knowledge or no reference on the players of yesterday. And the players today have this mindset that they're more superior than yesterday's players. And that's not an opinion, that's fact. If you do not believe me, go to Draymond Green's podcast. He constantly talks about how today's players are better than the players in Jordan era, Kobe's era. JJ Redick made a comment talking about Bob Cousy. He was a plumber. He was playing against plumbers and construction workers. It's funny, and I don't want to make this any longer. And I hope old man is listening. You know, there's a terminology. It's cool when you do it, but it's a problem when I do it. Meaning, it's cool when you discredit somebody, but when I discredit you, it's a problem. And that's the problem with today's players. I don't think today's players are incredibly knowledgeable about any era. I think today's players are like casual fans, the casual fans that watch them. I think they go to YouTube, they look at highlights, they don't look at the full game, they look at highlights, and then they base their determination off the highlight instead of watching the actual game. I said it in this live. I don't know if you was here, but casual fans, they don't even watch sports like they supposed to. They don't watch casual sports fans only watch selective clips of their favorite player or their favorite team. More times than not, it's their favorite player. And they look at the clip and they go, "Oh my God, did you see what Tyreek Hill did in that clip?" I'm just going to use Tyreek Hill for an example. But they don't watch the actual game like LeBron James. And I like LeBron James. Have nothing against LeBron James. But a lot of you guys are casual game watchers. You guys do not watch the full game. You guys go on social media and search for the clips. That's what I said in this live stream. I said that a lot of you guys don't watch full games. You watch clips. A lot of you guys that comment about your favorite player, you don't even watch them live. I have watched countless live games in the arena. A lot of you guys don't even go to the arena. A lot of you guys just pull your phone up, you type in your favorite player, and you watch their clips all day, every day. You think the clips are going to highlight the things that they did wrong or the things that they did right? Ask yourself that. You think the algorithm is going to promote the clips that he did that he made the right play or he did the wrong play? If enough people watch the right play, that's going to be in the algorithm. No one cares about the clips where he messes up. Everyone only cares about the clips where he did right. He made an amazing play. And that's how the algorithm works. And I'm not blaming the algorithm on the players. I'm not blaming the algorithm on the league, but I am blaming the algorithm on us as fans because we promote that garbage. We promote when an amazing clip we see on TikTok, and then it's in the algorithm or Facebook, whatever you get your. But a lot of casual fans don't watch a full game, and you can see it in their. You can feel it. You can see it in their comments because they'll say dumb things like this, dumb things. And this podcast, you can clearly tell that all those players, those football players, never watched a full game of Jerry Rice, Michael Irvin, Chris Carter, Deion Sanders. They're only looking at these players today, and they say to themselves, man, how could they be elite? I mean, look at them. Yeah, you're looking at them after their prime. No, my friend, go do the research. Go look at those players in the most important games. Not just playoff games, not just Super Bowls, but the important games. And you will find out a lot of those players I just named played on an all-time high. They didn't have one or two clips. They played on they took no plays off. Jerry Rice took no plays off. Michael Irvin took no plays off. Deion Sanders took no plays off. But if you look at today's players, they take plays off. And it's an easier climate. There's no stress. There's no mental fortitude. There's no physicality. They don't have to worry about physicality. Hell, they don't even have to even worry about competition. And I will blame that solely on these super teams. When you're just picking the best, you're cherry picking the best. Okay, if we get Chris Bosh, and if I take my talents to South Beach and I join up with Dwayne Wade, and then we start pulling players here and pulling players there, we can have our own dynasty. Because now I know LeBron James' point, like he didn't start it. It was really the San Antonio Spurs. But let's talk about the San Antonio Spurs. A lot of their players are players that they drafted. Tim Duncan was drafted. Robinson was drafted. Tony Parker was drafted. I think Tony Parker made it through the second round, first or second round, something like that. Ginobili was drafted. Kawhi was drafted. LeBron James talk about, well, I didn't start the super team era. Y'all don't never have the same energy for the San Antonio Spurs. Or now I will give him this. Boston, that was not drafted. They grabbed those players from other teams. Okay, Kevin Garnett didn't want to play for Minnesota. He took his talents to Boston and paired up with Paul Pierce. Ray Allen likewise did the same thing. But see, people only talk about those players, but there were other players. Big Baby was an important part, an important cog to their title run. But people don't talk about Big Baby in that light. Rondo was an important key part to their title run. Yeah, Ray Allen's, done his thing. Kevin Garnett done his thing. Paul Pierce have done their thing. But it was the others that did their thing. Okay? And people also seem to forget when LeBron was in his first stint with Cleveland. See, a lot of y'all got selective amnesia. When his first stint with Cleveland, you started noticing when it was free agency, nobody wanted to join LeBron James. And people would automatically blame it on Cleveland. Oh, well, nobody don't want to play in Cleveland. It's a dump over there. It's no, Cleveland this and Cleveland. They blame Cleveland, the city of Cleveland. Do y'all realize before LeBron James, they had Cleveland Cavaliers had teams. Hot Rod Williams. I just forgot that guy's name. I had him in. He's always in Jordan's highlights. When Jordan scored that last basket, he jumps up in the air. Price. Y'all act like the Cleveland Cavaliers didn't have nothing before LeBron James. It was a dump then. The city was a dump then, and they still had teams. When LeBron James has been removed from the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers are in talks to making a deep run in the playoffs. Even in today's standards. The city of Cleveland is still no different and no better with or without LeBron James. So the excuse that y'all use, well, nobody wants to join LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. They don't want to play in Cleveland. It's a dump over there. It's cold in Cleveland. It's this, it's that. Okay. But see, people don't realize when they had LeBron James, they couldn't even get anyone to play with him. And better yet, he was losing players. Carlos Boozer was on LeBron's squad. And Carlos Boozer, when it was free agency, see, people have selective amnesia. Carlos Boozer joined the Jazz. Okay? And a lot of people blame that. Well, they didn't blame LeBron James. They blamed the city of Cleveland. People seem to forget those things. There have been players that played with LeBron James, went to other teams, and won titles without LeBron James. People seem to forget that as well. So you can blame the city of Cleveland on why they couldn't get anybody in the offseason and why they kept losing players such as Carlos Boozer. You can blame the city all you want to, but if LeBron James was all that in a bag of chips, why he couldn't get people to come join him? Why he couldn't keep the talent that he had? Why that rule doesn't apply for Giannis? Giannis gets players to join him. Giannis didn't have to leave the Bucks to go someplace else. See, people have selective amnesia, then they change the argument. So when you say the Cleveland is a dump and nobody wants to live in Cleveland, so people don't want to live in Cleveland because it's a dump and it's cold, but people want to live in Milwaukee. Make that make sense. People don't want to live in Cleveland. That's why they can't get talent, even though they got talent now. That's neither here nor there, but y'all have selective amnesia. So Let me get this straight. People don't want to join the Cleveland Cavaliers because of the city, not because of LeBron James. But people are willing to live in Milwaukee just to play with Giannis. Make that make sense, folks. Make that make sense. It doesn't make sense. See, sometimes y'all get killed in your own arguments, but it's just the dick riding. So the real reason is nobody wanted to play with LeBron. He's the common denominator because he had to leave. See, people he had to leave Cleveland to go to Miami. But once again, y'all have selective amnesia. He wasn't winning titles with his first run with Cleveland, but y'all want to blame the owner. Y'all want to blame the players. Y'all want to blame the city. Y'all never blamed LeBron because LeBron at that time didn't know what it took or what it takes to be a leader. He didn't have that DNA in him. Y'all seem to forget that. LeBron only started to be successful when he went to now, if you want to say the Miami Heat organization is light years better than the Cleveland Cavaliers organization, then fine. We'll put that on the table. But y'all make it sound like LeBron James is this great leader. He can take teams to the title. And then here's another argument. Look what LeBron James took to the finals in his first ever finals. Look what he had on his roster when they had to play the San Antonio Spurs. And then y'all make it like it is an excuse, and then you backhand slap the San Antonio Spurs. Y'all slap in the face. The San Antonio Spurs had to deal with the same shit that the Cleveland Cavaliers had to deal with. The only difference is they had a team. That team wasn't built overnight. It took them a while to get the team that they got to beat LeBron in his first appearance in the finals. But y'all have selective amnesia. But it goes back to what I said. He had to go to Miami. He went to the Miami Heat that was a better run organization. Y'all want to say the Miami Heat organization is run better than the Cleveland Cavaliers? Fine. We'll give you that. If you want to say the ownership with the Miami Heat is more solid than Dan Gilbert with the Cleveland Cavaliers, fine. I'll give you all that. Okay, I'll give you all that. If you want to say the Miami Heat has a better history than the Cleveland Cavaliers, fine. I'll give you that as well. But remember, folks, he went to the Miami Heat. LeBron went to the Miami Heat. And when he got into the Miami Heat, that's when he got on that winning streak. That's when the titles start to appear. That's when he started to go to more and more finals. But people seem to forget the titles he won in Miami. He had Dwayne Wade, who already won titles without LeBron. He had Chris Bosh, who they got from Toronto, because originally they wanted also Carmelo Anthony. And Carmelo Anthony didn't want to join Miami because he would have to take a pay cut. So, Carmelo Anthony stayed with the Knicks. That's originally who they were trying to get. They were also trying to get Chris Paul. See, for all that to happen, everybody would have to take a pay cut. LeBron had to take a pay cut. Chris Bosh would have had to take a pay cut. Dwayne Wade had to take a pay cut. Carmelo Anthony, Chris Paul, Chris Bosh, all of them would have to take a pay cut to be on one team. And see, that's why it didn't work out the way they wanted to work out. So they got the big three. So people seem to forget these things. There's context in every story. Y'all only, and it goes to this era where y'all just pick up certain clips and then you try to destroy someone on a 30-second clip when you don't even know the whole story. You're not even telling the whole story. So yeah, um, old driver. I'm look, old driver. I have nothing against you, but I just don't think you're telling the whole thing. I just don't think you're telling the whole thing. But I'm gonna read your comment, okay? Um, but Wendy would still be amazing back then. And I agree with that, old driver. I agree Wendy would have been amazing back then. But see, that's not really the argument, is it? Because these players today are making the narrative of players back then wouldn't be amazing in their era. That's the whole essence of this argument. That's the whole essence of what Michael Irvin is saying. See, y'all talk Wemby. Of course, Wemby would be extraordinary back then. But you mean to tell me Wilt Chamberlain, Shaquille O'Neal, Patrick Ewing, you mean to tell me those great centers, and there's even other centers in the past, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You mean to tell me none of those players could coexist in this era where there's little to no defense, there's no hand checking, the referees are quick on the whistle. Any contact is made, they're gonna blow the whistle. You mean to tell me none of those players could play in today's era? Shaquille O'Neal will be literally scoring 100 points because Shaquille O'Neal was a tough out back then. There was nobody that could deal with Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal is massive. See, and I feel like social media and these podcasts, they do a disservice to Shaquille O'Neal. I witnessed Shaquille O'Neal in his prime. I was on the now I was I was watching Shaquille O'Neal. People need to see Shaquille O'Neal in real life. And Shaquille O'Neal is massive. In his prime, he was not only massive, but he was athletic. He dominated on both ends. I've seen Shaquille O'Neal on the Orlando Magic dribble a ball like a point guard, dribbling it through his legs, dribbling the ball from one end of the court to the other end of the court. And his defender didn't know what to do with him, couldn't know what to do with him. And then when he set up down low, there was not a single team, much less players or players, couldn't do anything with Shaquille O'Neal. Couldn't do nothing with him. So you mean to tell me, I'm just going to use Shaquille O'Neal because I think Shaquille O'Neal, a lot of you today's players should know Shaquille O'Neal. I know y'all know Shaquille O'Neal with Shaq and the Fool and him yucking it up and things of that nature. Shaquille O'Neal was a dominant player. So y'all should know Shaquille O'Neal. You should already seen all of Shaquille O'Neal highlights, okay? So you mean to tell me Shaquille O'Neal couldn't dominate Wemby? You mean to tell me Shaquille O'Neal could not play in this era? Is that what you're telling me? See, the conversation isn't about today's players playing in that era. The conversation initially, and you can go check out Michael Irvin's video, is today's players seem to think that yesterday's players could not make it in today's era. With all the advancement in technology and medical research and surgery and medicine, you mean to tell me the players of the past cannot play in today's era? You got to be shitting me. There's little to no defense, no hand checking. The physicality is gone out of a lot of these major games. The mental game is gone as well. You just plug and play. So yesterday's players cannot play in today's era, but today's era players can play in that era. when you don't have a lick of research of today's players playing yesterday's players and their rules and the stuff that they have to deal with. You don't have no research on that. None. You're just purely speculating. Purely speculating. So yeah, Wemby would have been amazing yesteryear if he had to play in the 80s or the 90s. Hell, even in the 60s, Wemby would be extraordinary. But Wemby is a complete player. I love this. Y'all always promote, and I'm not talking about you, old driver, but y'all always talk about a player that's only good at one thing, and then y'all say that player would be able to play in yesteryear and dominate. And then when someone like myself, tell you that, hey, they was only just fast, and then you act like there's no fast receivers back then, and then y'all switch the game up. Now y'all not talking about that player no more. Now y'all talking about someone in today's era who's more complete, who's more solid. Wemby is fundamentally solid. Okay? So, no one's not going to discredit saying, oh, you mean tell me Wemby wouldn't be able to play in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, or the 90s? Yes, Wemby would have been able to play in all of those eras. But this nonsense that Draymond Green can play in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, JJ Redick could play in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, Richard Jefferson can play in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and the 90s. Y'all gotta be kidding. Y'all shitting me, right? Y'all joking. This is a joke, right? This is a joke. I'm not saying LeBron James. LeBron James could play in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. But LeBron would have to change the way he approached the game. And judging by, and I'm looking at LeBron James' whole career. I'm not looking at LeBron James' partial career. I'm looking at LeBron James' whole career. I think it would have been, I don't think it would have been easier said than done. I just think LeBron James would have a tall hill to climb if he had to deal with hand checking, if he had to deal with physicality, if he had to deal with mental fortitude. Remember, this is the same LeBron James. Y'all have selective amnesia again. Here we go again, selective amnesia. This was the same LeBron James that had to be sedated for a Miami Heat game. Sedated. But that's the same guy that would have no problem in those eras. I have never heard the word sedated with a superstar until LeBron. And I like LeBron James. I have never heard the word sedated and superstar all in one word and all in one sentence. And I love LeBron James. I think LeBron James could play in those eras. There's no disrespect there, because LeBron is like I say, he's a more well-rounded, completed player. But y'all also have to factor in the stress, the mental fortitude, the physicality, and competition. In that era, there was no such thing as Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or Michael Jordan or Charles Barkley all playing on one team. And I'm not dissing LeBron James, but what I'm trying to tell you is the truth is the truth. LeBron James had an opportunity. There was a time where LeBron James could play. He wanted to play with Kawhi Leonard. He wanted to play with the Golden State Warriors. He wanted to play with Steph Curry. He wanted to play with Giannis. He wanted to play with Kevin Durant. If he would have played in Michael Jordan's era, that would not exist. Everybody would have to get it out the mud. They would have to get it out the mud. You would have to, if you was a major star, you would have to pick a city and build from within. And I think the struggles that LeBron James didn't have to deal with in this era, he would have had to deal with in that era, because it was frowned upon, and a lot of players, a lot of superstars would not consider LeBron James a superstar if he would have said, you know what, I can't do it here. Let me go someplace else where it's already done. That was frowned upon in even Michael Jordan's era. That did not exist. Either either you get this team out the mud, or you just be buried in the mud. That's pretty much what it is. So um yeah, I think LeBron James would have had no problem playing in those eras. However, his success being elite, if he still made the same decisions like he made in this era and tried to enforce it in those eras, it would have been frowned upon, and it would have been just difficult to do. Because I don't think Michael Jordan, would you would never see the day where Michael Jordan would join forces with LeBron James. Charles Barkley joining forces with LeBron James. Penny Hardaway, Shaquille O'Neal. We're talking about the greats joining forces with another great. They would not, if that would have happened, they would not consider LeBron James great. That's the point I'm trying to make to you guys. They would not consider LeBron James great. If that would have happened, LeBron James would have been out of the discussion in being great. Because back then, competition was good. Competition, you're only good as your competition and who the people that you knock off or who the people you play. And yeah, LeBron James, again, I'm going to say this again. I done said it about 5 or 6 times, but a lot of you guys don't listen. Again, I'm not saying LeBron James could not play in those eras. What I am saying is LeBron James, if he tried to exercise what he exercised in this era and tried to apply it in those older eras, it would have been frowned upon, and it would have been difficult to do. Plus, he had to deal with being more physical, more hand checking, the mental side of the game. You have to have a complete mental mindset to play in that era. The stress would have been an all-time high. Remember, LeBron James had to be sedated at a playoff game. Superstar LeBron James was sedated for a playoff game. I'm just saying, if you're struggling on a playoff game and you got all the cards in your favor, you got the ownership, you got the coach, you got superstar players, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, you got all these other players, and you're still being sedated, that tells me a lot. That tells me a lot. I'm just saying, and I love LeBron James. I think LeBron James is an awesome player. I have nothing against LeBron James. But, man, come on, guys. We got to stop. We got to call facts, and bullshit. But again, like I said, when I started this argument, see, it's cool when you guys do it. But when I try to do it, it's a problem. It's a problem. So it's okay for you to criticize me, but I can't criticize you. That's pretty much what this is. But, shout out to Old Driver. I appreciate you making that comment, okay? Rasheed Wallace would clown Cat. Yeah, I think Rasheed Wallace, if there was a matchup, I think more times than not, Rasheed Wallace would be benefiting if he had to play Cat. But you got to understand, and again, they asked Cat to be a floater around the perimeter, occasionally shoot threes, and occasionally get down low. Rasheed Wallace did everything. You know, he sets the plays. He plays the best defender. He had to learn his way around the perimeter. He played down low. He got rebounds. You know, a lot of people don't give Rasheed Wallace his flowers. You know, but again, can Cat? It's one of those questions where if they switch roles and Rasheed Wallace had to do Cat role and Cat had to do Rasheed Wallace's role, who would do better at it? Uh, I think there's a lot of limitations on Rasheed Wallace trying to do Cat's role, and there's more limitations on what Cat had to if Cat had to be Rasheed Wallace. If you put Cat with the Detroit Pistons, I don't think they would won those titles without Rasheed Wallace, because Rasheed Wallace was an important factor. Okay, and if you put Cat in that scenario, if you put Rasheed Wallace with the Knicks, I think the Knicks would be a little bit better because Rasheed Wallace knows his role. He understands his role. He's not a star player. And I think it will be successful. Is it successful for them to win a title? I think this year, if they would have gotten Rasheed, if they would have removed Cat and got Rasheed Wallace in his prime, I think the Knicks would advance even further with Rasheed Wallace than Cat. Because, like I said, if Rasheed Wallace just plays his role, he'll be more of a benefactor to the Knicks than Cat floating around the perimeter when you got all these shooters. We don't need you to really play the perimeter. It's okay to get a perimeter shot here or there. It's okay to get a three, but we really need you to go down low and be the anchor of the defense and grab some rebounds, contest a couple of shots. And that's not Cat's skill set. But players that was Cat size back then, that was required. You had to go down low. You had to get rebound. You had to be an anchor on defense. You had to contest shots. And you had to also score. That was a requirement. Okay? It's not a requirement anymore. And again, I'm not shitting on Cat. I'm just saying, I think Cat would have had a hard, difficult time playing in those older eras than Rasheed Wallace. I think it would be easier for Rasheed Wallace to play in this era because it's less physical. There's no physicality, and the mental game it's not as stressful, or the mental game is not like it was back then. So there's a lot of factors and ingredients people don't put in when they're trying to compare these players, but it is what it is. So hold up. The knock on Brown was his rush block. Here's the best. He is the best in the league. Oh, God, man, I wish I would have gotten that sooner. Oh, you're talking about Tim Brown? Okay, but but the reason why I brought up Tim Brown is you have to understand those guys on that podcast, all what is called? God damn, what the name of it? It's a dumbass name. All Facts, No Ego, or All Facts, No Emotion podcast, some stupid name like that. They were talking about the only important factor you have to be as far as a receiver go is you have to be fast. You have to be fast. You have to be fast. That's it. It doesn't matter if you're able to catch the ball in traffic. It doesn't matter if you have to catch the ball in the middle and get hit. It doesn't matter if you have to catch the ball on the sidelines and get hit. None of that stuff doesn't matter. None of it matters. All it matters is you have to be fast. You have to be fast. And that's the point I was making with that analogy, because that's a dumb argument. Because then they went on and said that players such as Deion Sanders, Michael Irvin, Jerry Rice could not play in today's era. And they act like speed didn't exist until like 5 years ago. They act like Tyreek Hill is the only person in the National Football League that was fast. And that's dumb to say, because Tim Brown was fast. Joey Galloway was fast. Rocket Ishmael, both Ishmaels were fast. I'm just naming a few people off the top of the dome. I'm pretty sure if I, would have done some research on this, I could name 1,000 more receivers that were fast in any era. So for you to sit up there and say that, oh, there's no athleticism in those sports, and Jerry Rice and Michael Irvin and Deion Sanders would have had a hard time playing in this era, do those idiots realize that Michael Irvin and Jerry Rice is the gold standard for receivers, and they have records today that have not been broken? If speed was all that important and how fast you can get off the line, by the way, the NFL is flag football. They just eliminated physicality. You're able to get off your route. You're able to run your route. You're able to catch the ball. You're able to land with ball secure in hand. And then the only thing you have to worry about is someone tackling you. And y'all think that that's football? Y'all think that's competitive football? What, in sports, there's forces being played. There's forces on both sides. See, in football, everything's supposed to be on the up and up. Everything is even. Not in today's sports. It's all offensive driven. All the rules benefit the offensive players. They don't benefit the defensive players. That's why I say it's flag football. These players are allowed uninterrupted off the line, run their route, slant, catch the ball, in the air, catch the ball, land with both feet on the ground. Or your feet are secure on the ground? Okay. Are you able to take a tackle, not a hit, a tackle? Are you okay? Is everything okay? Everything's fine, right? Okay. That's like 3 yards later. Okay. Now I'm gonna tackle you. You ready? I'm going to tackle you. You ready? Okay, I'm tackling you. That's not even being competitive. But, like I said, a lot of these leagues promote what people want to see. And like a lot of you guys, y'all claim that y'all these hardcore fans. Y'all not even hardcore fans because y'all don't even watch the whole game. You only watch highlights and clips from social media. And you don't think these leagues know that? So yeah, that's the argument I was making. If it was all about speed and speed this and speed that, they act like speed and athleticism only existed when in Tyreek Hill era, when I can give you countless examples of speed and athleticism in all eras. That stuff existed then. And they had to deal with a lot more than what these speedsters have to deal with now. That's the point I was making. Okay, I don't want to go too far on it. Hot Wang Wad. I know you're trying to be funny. Go Steelers. And I read all these up here at the top. Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so yeah, I'm done reading all the comments. Really do appreciate everyone. I didn't expect this thing to last this long. I thought I was gonna be on here for like 15 minutes and then I'm out the gate. I'm 88 out the gate. Here we are over an hour and I'm still talking about it. So I'm done. Answered all y'all questions. I really do appreciate everyone coming into the building. I really do appreciate everyone hitting the like button. And again, I have no issue with people commenting in the comment section. I have no issue with it. Y'all are allowed to comment. You're free to say whatever you want to say. I read your comment and I just go about my day, because I know what I'm saying is not popular opinion. I know that because people just don't know any better, you know, and that's fine. That's fine. I feel like people are more entertained. They have selective entertainment. I like the competition. When I watch sports for the competition. I want to see two teams do the very best they can, and only one team will win. I don't care which team it is. Like I told you guys, I'm a huge Dallas Cowboy fan. I would love to see the Dallas Cowboys win all their games. I would love to see the Dallas Cowboys advance in the playoffs. I would even love the Dallas Cowboys to win a Super Bowl. But I don't want the Dallas Cowboys to win it under these conditions. Yeah, congratulations, they won. But I'm then not going to turn around and say, well, they won it on the most extreme conditions, and this Dallas Cowboy team done something that the older Cowboy teams in the past couldn't do, win a title in this era. The only reason why they can't win a title in this era because they're past their prime. They're much older, but in their prime they would have dominated in this era. And I just don't think people want to give credit to the old guard. I don't think people don't want to give credit to, because they feel like if I give credit to the older players, that's just discredit what the players I like today. And I like the players today. I have no issue with none of the players today. Tim Brown, I wasn't I wasn't there when Tim Brown was amazing on the football field. I heard stories about Tim Brown through my uncle, through my father. I saw old Tim Brown highlights, okay? But I can appreciate Tim Brown, and I never once at any part of my life said that Tim Brown could not make it in today's NFL. I appreciate the accomplishments of Tim Brown. I don't understand why people don't appreciate the era of yesterday. And Draymond Green does this a lot. He just discredits and tries to shit on try and do a backhanded compliment about the 80s and the 90s. And look, in the 80s and 90s, it was more competitive. In the 80s and 90s, there was more factors you had to deal with on a competition level that doesn't exist or apply in today's era. But that don't mean that today's era is bad. It's just if you had to rank the eras, that era was better than today's era. And the proof is in the pudding. There's so many teams, there are there's no such, the dynasty era is over with. Thank God we're getting back to competition. Thank God for the Golden State, not Golden State Warriors. Thank God for, oh my God, they're in, oh my God, Oklahoma City Thunder. Thank God for them. Thank God for the Toronto Raptors when they won their title. When they, because everyone thought, including myself, I thought the Golden State Warriors were going to win that. Now, people don't give credit or credence to the Toronto Raptors because they said, well, Boogie Cousins was injured, Kevin Durant was injured, but they still had Steph Curry. They still had their core players, Steph Curry. They still had Steph Curry. They had Klay Thompson for a certain part, and you had Draymond Green. Plus, you had the collection of your other players that you won titles with. It's the next man up mentality. You should have the next man up mentality when all those other players went down, and they lost to the Toronto Raptors. Thank God for the Milwaukee Bucks. I appreciate Giannis, and they won the title. This is, and the Golden State Warriors, I think 2 years ago, they won a title. They ran it back and won a title without Kevin Durant. So, I appreciate today's era. I just don't think the players today appreciate the error in the players in the past or the errors in the past. Okay. So yeah, that's all I got for today's live stream. I hate to run, but I gotta run. I'm way mad over. I really appreciate everyone hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel. It's your boy. I'm up out of here. Just My Opinion podcast is wrapping up. Man, I gave y'all some good golden content. I think I did 3 live streams this week. So go check out the previous live streams. I'll be back better, yet better and good. So I'll talk to you guys. I think I screwed that up. I'll be back even better. That's what I really wanted to say. So I'll see you guys later. I'm up out of here. I'm gone. Deuces. Appreciate everyone.